What's going on, guys? This is Chase fan number 9 here, and here I am with my first race review of the 2020 NASCAR season. In today's video, I'll be talking about today's race that just wrapped up a couple of hours ago, the 2020 Busch Clash at Daytona, or should I say, the Busch Crash at Daytona, as most people are now starting to call it. And I have no idea where to begin. I tell you, I find it funny how this race went from 0 to 100 real quick. Oh my god. Well, before we get into the actual race, first off, I just want to say congratulations to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on winning the pole for the Daytona 500 next Sunday. It's a huge accomplishment, especially for a small team like JTG Doherty Racing. And also congratulations to Alex Bowman as well for getting the second place starting spot as well. I know lots of people were expecting Jimmy Johnson to win the pole, and considering that this will be his next Sunday will be his last Daytona 500. But honestly, at this point, it's just whatever. I was not expecting Ricky Stenhouse, to win the pole. I know some people don't like Stenhouse. I understand that. To be honest, Ricky Stenhouse, he's not my favorite Chevrolet driver, but it's a good accomplishment for him nonetheless. So, yeah. At least Jimmy Johnson and my driver Chase Elliott are getting decent starting spots in the duels, which is a good thing. I just hope Jimmy wins the duel on Thursday. And also, by the way, there will be reaction videos for the duels as well. So for Thursday, stay tuned for those. So yeah. And also, Brendan Gaughan and Justin Haley have locked themselves into the 500. It's now Chad Fincham, Daniel Suarez, who has been the story of this weekend, Timmy Hill, and I forgot who the other driver was. I think it was JJ Yaley. That was, and I think Reed Sorensen too. So yeah. So that's all I have to say. You know what I find funny? First Danica and now Ricky Stenhouse have a pole in the 500. Don't you guys find that surprising? I'm at least happy a Chevrolet is on pole again. So yeah. I know some people wanted Hendrick to one of the Hendrick drivers to win, but hey, streaks are not meant to last forever, but it was fun while it lasted. So yeah, I hope next year a Chevrolet, one of the Hendrick guys, can do it again. So yeah. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the clash, shall we? So, first off, I was not expecting Ryan Newman to start on the pole, but it was, well, regardless if, well, love him or hate him, it was cool to see him start on the pole nonetheless. And he was up there with fellow Ford driver Brad Keselowski, and they both led the field to the green. So, the first 25 laps, it was mostly a single file freight train on the top lane. The Toyota and Ford ran in the front group, and the Chevrolet drivers all ran in a second group behind the group of Toyota and Ford. And I have to give credit to some of the drivers for making, trying to make something happen, which I give them credit for, because sometimes they just sit there and they just do nothing. Chevrolet, they're trying to make stuff happen, but they just weren't going anywhere. So yeah. And now I know they're using the same package from Daytona and Talladega last year. So yeah. So Ryan Newman, he managed to lead the first 2 laps. Then Brad Keselowski led some laps, but no, I think no, it was Keselowski who led after Newman led the first 2. He was up there, and then Truex was up there, but I'm kind of rusty. one of them dropped to the had to fall. One of them gave up the lead because one of them had debris. I think it was because no, it was Truex who had debris on his grill. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, my brain's kind of fried from that wreck. So yeah, so you have to excuse me if I don't get anything right. I'm sorry. Not everyone's perfect, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Truex, he got debris on his grill. He was another driver next to Keselowski that led early. He dropped back. He did manage to get the debris off his grill, and he used none other than his teammate Denny Hamlin of all people to get the debris off, and it is what it is. And they weren't on the bright side, at least at least the race wasn't extremely boring like last year where they were just single file up until the last moment. So that's a slight improvement over last year, because you all know how 2019 last year went, so we definitely don't want to go through that again. So yeah, as so on lap 25 was the competition caution, and most of the front runners came to pit road. Well, the Toyota and Fords, all of the Toyotas and Fords came to pit road except Ryan Newman and the Chevrolet group. They all stayed out. I found Ryan Newman's strategy there to be really interesting, because I'm surprised he stayed out along with the Chevrolets instead of Newman coming to pit road with everybody else, which I find really impressive. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I use Racing Reference sometimes, look at the results, because sometimes it's better that I look at it, because sometimes I just don't remember things and I just don't want to get. Yeah, Truex took the lead from Newman early, then gave it to Keselowski, then Newman led for a while, and then he came back to pit. So after Newman pitted along with the Chevrolet guys, Brad Keselowski retook the lead. And he was having a decent run too, so can't go wrong there. And he led for a good while up until lap 46 after the competition caution. Well, he led up until before lap 50 when he came to pit road, and some of the Chevrolet guys stayed out for a while trying to stretch their fuel, but I knew they weren't gonna make it that far on fuel, so yeah. William, at least some of my favorite Chevrolet drivers got to lead laps, like Byron Larson, Chase Bowman, and others. So yeah. And then during that green flag pit stop, between lap 45 and 50, Eric Jones was coming into start, and he overshot his pit box. I mean, I wasn't surprised, because it happens to everyone. It was not just him, so yeah, it is what it is. But hey, mistakes happen. Not everyone's perfect, so I'm gonna leave it at that. And as the Chevrolet drivers were staying out, within 8 laps, that group led by Keselowski, they caught up to that Chevrolet group real fast. And I wasn't surprised, because the Chevrolet guys were doing what they were doing, trying to stay out as long as they can, and I have to give them credit. You'll see drivers like William Byron drop back, Kyle Larson, Austin Dillon, then Joey Logano. Fuck Logano. Logano was up there, was leading. So yeah. Now, we get to the moment that pretty much set off the whole chain of events that eventually led up to one of the craziest finishes real quick, or should I say, the thing that made the race go from 0 to 100 real quick. So what happened was Kyle Busch got a run on Logano, and what happened was Kyle Busch tried to fake high, and then he came down like this, and Logano just got sideways. And once he got sideways, I was like, oh no. And the reason why I say this is because Jimmy Johnson's right behind, and you know how Johnson's history in the Clash has been, aside from his win last. But anyways, Logano came down, and they got into Hamlin, and then And then Logano shot the track up into his teammate Keselowski, who was basically just an innocent victim with nowhere to go. And I tell you, Jimmy Johnson, he had that heart monitor inside his car. And I tell you, that probably made his I tell you, that made his heart rate go up real quick. Oh my goodness. But yeah. But we'll talk about Jimmy Johnson later. But yeah, and also I guess you can say all three Penske cars got into it because Blaney got a piece, but I wasn't really sure. But I'm assuming he got a bit, but they probably just didn't show up with. So yeah, but in the end, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, their day was done. Thank God Kyle Busch was out of that race. Fuck. You know, like I said before, even though I don't like Kyle Busch, I still respect his talent, and I respect his fan base. I'm just letting you know how I feel about Kyle Busch. And thank God Logano was near. I'll bet Kamikaze Games was happy after today's race. That's for sure. That Logano crashed out. So, yeah. Did he get a D? Yeah, he did get a DNF. Yes. So, yeah. Yeah, and I saw after the race, Brad Keselowski, I could tell, was not happy with his teammates and Kyle Busch. Because keep in mind, all three of those drivers have had history with each other, and you guys get the idea. So yeah, and I have to give credit to Keselowski for voicing his thoughts after the race, especially after that wreck at Indy last year, and today, I have to give credit to him. So yeah, he and Blaney are the only two Penske guys that I like, and De Benedetto, but that's for another time. So yeah, but can I blame Keselowski for being pissed off? Nah, I don't really blame him. So yeah, but on the bright side, happy Kyle Busch has got a DNF. Didn't like Keselowski being taken out early, but hey, it is what it is. Now we get to the one that really started to make the race real intense. So what happened was, apparently several drivers on that one restart spun their tires. And I keep hearing there was oil on the track, but I'm not really sure about that because I didn't see anything really. What happened was Newman, Byron, and Harvick, and several other people spun their tires, and it just caused a huge pileup, which took out Truex. Let's see. Who else? William Byron, who was in his first clash, unfortunately got taken out, and Denny Hamlin, Logano again. Eric Jones, I believe, got a piece of that. So yeah, and also Boyer too got a piece. Blaney, Larson, Newman, all those people got involved. Aside from Truex and Byron, the rest were able to continue, but that didn't last for long. And to be honest, that's the first time I've seen a wreck. First time in a while, actually, I've seen a wreck on the restarts at Daytona. So yeah. Now the next wreck, now the next one that happened caused our first red flag of the race. So what happened was, Chase Elliott, I believe, was pushing what's his name, Denny Hamlin too aggressively, and there were several other people, and apparently the hard pushing apparently caused Denny Hamlin's tire to go down, and when they were going to turn 3, Denny Hamlin's car just whipped around, and it kind of looked like Kyle Busch 3 years ago, but hey, that was what it was. But anyways, yeah, Denny Hamlin's car just went around like this, and it took out some people like Logano, who else? Blaney, Almirola, Dylan Jones, Harvick, and unfortunately Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch got taken out. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin were all taken out, and yeah, I'm a little sad that Jimmy Johnson wasn't able to finish off his final clash at Daytona, but I'm glad that he made it as far as he could, and I have to give him credit for trying his best to avoid those first 2 wrecks. I guess 3 strikes and you're out, Jim. Well, but I'm not saying he deserved to crash out. I'm just saying 3 strikes in your. But I'm glad he made it as far as he could. And for you Jimmy Johnson fans out there, you should be grateful for the clashes that he's won in years past, including last year. So you should be grateful that he made it as far as he could, and he tried. So yeah, love him or hate him, he made it as far as he could. And I was disappointed too that Kurt Busch got taken out too, but that's, like I said, that's just Daytona. And unfortunately, Bowman got taken out too. Yeah, so that was basically 300 drivers out within a couple laps of each other. So I guess you can give an F to all the Hendrick cars, I guess. So yeah. But anyways, I have to give credit to for the people out there to clean it up too. So yeah. And also, Almirola was having a good day. He rode at the back for a while, but then he eventually made his way forward. So, yeah. And also, speaking of Jimmy Johnson, I think the reason why he was in the back, running at the back, I think he just wanted to avoid early trouble. I think that's why he did what he did. So, yeah. And I tell you, that race was carnage. And I saw a tweet saying that this race reached black eye for the sport's proportions, and it sure felt like it. So yeah. But anyways, by that point, there were like, I don't know, like 9 cars left in the race. Cause like I said, it was carnage all around. Yeah. So after they get that cleaned up, they went back green again, and Chase Elliott was in the lead when that caution involving Jimmy Harvick and the others was in it, and he actually get the lead. He was up there, and then Kyle Larson comes out of nowhere and takes the lead. And I don't know why you people keep criticizing Chase. Some people were on to Chase Elliott for pushing the shit out of Larson. That's just racing, folks. Love him or hate Chase Elliott. I tell you, he can push. Good Lord. Now, keep in mind, this is coming from a Chase Elliott fan. And keep in mind, Larson, Chase Elliott, they're my top 2 all-time favorite drivers. You have to keep that in mind, folks. So, yeah. And also, Denny Hamlin, he managed to survive despite being multiple laps down. Well, 3 laps down, he was 2 laps down, my bad. He wasn't. So what happened was Larson was pushing Larson too aggressively, and it caused Larson to go around like this, and they tried to save it, but unfortunately, Larson got overcorrected, turned back up into Chase Elliott, and basically ended Chase Elliott's day. But at least he got a top 10 in the race despite crashing out. So I guess you can say he got a top 10 in the first non-points race of the season. And also Jimmy Johnson, he finished 11th for those that don't know. And if he had crashed out, finished in the top 10, I guess you can say he both had a good and bad day, crashing out and finishing in the top 10, but fortunately he was a spot short of that top 10. So yeah, this video is going to be a couple more minutes long, so you have to excuse me. So yeah, but they managed to clean that up, and by that point there were 6 drivers left in the race: Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, Clint Boyer, Kyle Larson, Ryan Newman, and Denny Hamlin, despite being a lap down. Now, I hear some people thought that NASCAR was doing this just to give the win to Austin Dillon. Well, I'm like, please, no. And also, if you heard my reaction to the Chase Elliott wreck, you knew how I felt about that. So, yeah. Wow. This race, at least Larson, one of my top 2 favorite drivers, managed to survive. Yeah, almost all my picks crashed out of this race. except I believe Ryan Newman. Yeah, Ryan Newman was the only pick that I had left. So yeah, most of my other picks had crashed out, and all the by that time that last caution was over, um, all the Hendrick cars are out. Wow, talk about major F for one of my top favorite teams. Wow, but it's honestly whatever at this point. So yeah. But anyways, we went back racing. Forgot who was on the front. Austin Dillon was on the front row along with Ryan Newman. And I'll tell you, once the green flag took, despite having six, despite only being, despite having only 6 cars in the race, it was on from there. Once they came out turn 2, Newman made a bold move to the inside of Dillon, and I tell you, he was on it despite having no help. And then I saw Jones and Hamlin working together, considering that they're the only two drivers on the same team who were left in the race, and they managed to get a push. And Newman somehow managed to make it to the white flag. I was like, you know, I understand some people hate Newman and Dillon, but to be honest, I'd rather see Newman win over Dillon and all those people. So, yeah, Newman was up there, and he was leading coming down the backstretch, and then next thing I know, I see Eric Jones in a torn to shit race car get a huge push from Denny Hamlin, who's also torn up, and they were getting a big run. And then as that's happening, I see Austin Dillon make a bold move. He just sent it going to the inside, and it kind of looked like he went underneath the double yellow line, but it didn't. But when I look back again on the finish, it looked like he didn't, but he was close though. And I tell you, I felt like I was seeing the old days where they used to do lock bumpers and do the tandem drafting. That's what Jones and Hamlin were doing. And wow, Eric Jones in one of the most torn up race cars from out of the 6 cars that were left in the race, Eric Jones, who had the most torn up, or should I say most torn to shit car, ends up, believe it or not, winning the Busch Clash at Daytona. And I gotta tell you, I was just shocked. Wow, I can't believe that Jones boy actually won Daytona in the Busch Clash in that torn to shit race car. Wow, he wins the Coke 0400 2 years ago. Last year he wins the Southern 500, and now the Busch Clash. Wow, that's a huge accomplishment. And wow. And guys thought Denny Hamlin won the race, but in reality, he was still a lap down, and Austin Dillon actually came home in second. So, yeah. And Austin Dillon, the cleanest car throughout the entire race, despite getting caught in one wreck, came home in second. Then Boyer third, Larson fourth, Newman fifth, and Denny Hamlin sixth. Yep, that was your running order at the end of the race. So, what do I think about it? So the race, I think it was a slight improvement over last year. I know some people didn't like the finish, like how the race ended, but what more can you do? And to be honest, I have no idea how I'm gonna rate this race, because it was just madness, I tell you. But hey, it is what it is, and I hope everyone enjoyed it despite the end. And I do agree, it almost felt like the end of Talladega Nights, where almost every car crashed out of the race. So yeah, at least it wasn't cringe. It wasn't a single file line for 75 straight laps. So yeah, so we should be grateful for that. And I do agree, the package, there needs to be some slight adjustments, but everything else, just leave it the same. So yeah. Wow. And for Eric Jones, I think this is a huge accomplishment for him. I know some people don't like him, but because he wrecks a lot, because that's what I've heard from other people, but I'm not going to go bash them, but some drivers are not perfect, okay? Some drivers are not perfect. Whether if you love him or hate him, Jones drove the race of his career. that's what I feel like. If you guys want to have different opinions, it's just for you, and I'm not gonna complain about it. So yeah, I'm just grateful that someone other, at least it wasn't Logano or Busch who didn't win. Ugh, fuck those two. But anyways, yeah, I just hope. Well, before I go, I just want to say, now I know what we're gonna expect in the Daytona 500 a week from today, and I hope it's almost 9 o'clock. I hope next Sunday in the duels all goes well. So yeah. Well, anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say. Oh, and by the way, Eric Jones passed post race inspection, so good job. And I can't believe Lionel Racing's actually going to go out of its way to produce that die cast. If they sell as a NASCAR Authentics, then that's 2 thumbs up. And for Eric Estep, I was reading his Twitter. I'm like, I'm surprised he picked Eric Jones to win. And guess what? Lo and behold, his pick won. Wow. I may not have picked Eric Jones to pick as one of my picks, but nonetheless, congratulations to Eric Jones. I hope this is a sign of good things to come. So, yeah. Sorry if I missed any details, but like I said, I'm not perfect, so sorry if I missed any details. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I know this was very long, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's race regardless of how the finish went. And yeah, that's pretty much all to say. So guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. This has been Chase Fan number 9 here. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell down below to get notifications for all my videos, and make sure to smash that like button. And with that, I will see you guys on Thursday, I guess. So with that, I'll see y'all soon. And until then, have a good one. Bye, everyone.